You are about to adventure into the dimension of the impossible. To enter this realm, you must set your mind free from the earthly fetters that bind it. If the events you are about to witness are unbelievable, it is only because your imagination is chained. Sit back, relax, and believe, so that you may cross the brink of time and space into that land you sometimes visit in your dreams.
I think it's time I cut out now.
Don't be a drag. You know how you flip me.
I'm hip.
In 1957, the prolific and legendary producer-director Roger Corman made Not of This Earth, a black and white science fiction film that played on a double bill with his own Attack of the Crab Monsters. It was common at this time for drive-ins and theaters to show double bills of films around 65 minutes long each, and Corman was tasked with making 2 of these in a row, with a budget of around $80,000 to $100,000 and a 10-day shooting schedule for each film. Although shooting in color was pretty normal at this point, black and white was still cheaper and still acceptable, so Corman, being Corman, opted for black and white. Written by Charles B. Griffith and Mark Hanna, Not of This Earth is a very cheap but fun sci-fi romp with Paul Birch as Mr. Johnson. Now, Mr. Johnson is an alien in LA who wears dark shades and requires human blood transfusions to cure a raging alien disease from his home planet, Davana, that has been devastated by nuclear war.
Time narrows. There is death upon Davana.
Davana must endure.
Speak of the Earth creatures.
They are second stage, subhuman, weak and full of fright.
Speak of their blood.
Beverly Garland plays Nadine, a live-in nurse that Johnson hires to give him regular transfusions for his blood disease.
Do you have an appointment? I see. Mr. Paul Johnson for 10 o'clock. That'll be for a blood test.
No test.
Beg your pardon?
No test. Transfusion.
In the background, Mr. Johnson is secretly teleporting blood to his home planet. Mr. Johnson is also hiding a secret, that he is behind the vampire killings going around LA, that Nadine's police boyfriend, played by Morgan Jones, is also investigating.
You say he's critical, Sunshine. He's critical, but I'll just tag along, see that he gets there safe and sound. Then maybe I'll take you in.
Why? I haven't done anything.
Why not?
Mr. Johnson also has hired a former criminal named Jeremy, played by Jeremy Hayes, as his houseboy, who also has a huge crush on Nurse Nadine.
What do you do, kid?
I'm here to keep Mr. Johnson healthy.
I'm already healthy. What time do you get off work?
I'm not here to keep you happy, Jeremy.
Dick Miller has a small part as a vacuum cleaner salesman that is so funny it almost takes the film in a totally different direction.
You wish that I purchase your machine.
I don't want you to purchase, mister. I just want to give you a free demonstration. You want to purchase, you purchase. You don't want to purchase, you don't purchase. I ain't gonna force you to purchase.
Flash forward to 1988, when prolific B-movie director Jim Wynorski, who at the time was finishing up directing duties on Deathstalker 2 for Roger Corman. Which, by the way, Deathstalker 2 has maybe the greatest opening title sequence line of all time.
I'll have my revenge, and Deathstalker 2.
Wynorski made a wager with Corman that he could remake one of his old films with the same script, the same budget, and the same schedule as he did. And the Not of This Earth remake was born. Now, Wynorski did make one change to the remake beside it being in color, and that was boobs. Lots and lots of boobs. But I can't show you boobs on YouTube, so you'll just have to deal with that on your own. Wynorski, however, needed a star to be Nurse Nadine, and as luck would have it, the Traci Lords porn scandal had just happened, and word was Traci wanted to go legit. But because of the media's scrutiny of the scandal, she had gone into hiding. But Jim, being Jim, knew a friend of a friend who knew where she was, and he was able to make contact with her and told her the skinny on the production. Lords was attracted to the humor that Jim intended to bring to the new version by playing the 50s script straight up.
Do you work for Mr. Johnson?
Sure do. Name's Jeremy. Bodyguard, chauffeur, chief cook, and bottle washer. I'm loaded with talents.
I bet you are. Do you also have a permit for the gun parked under your jacket?
You have an eye for detail. I like that in a lady.
Lords would, however, have to appear nude, and she agreed, but she said this was the last time she would ever appear nude in a film, and to her word, it was her final nude appearance on film. Since Wynorski pretty much followed Corman's original script, the dialogue is very 50s, so it only makes sense that we turn the color down and see if the remake of Not of This Earth works better in black and white. After a frenetic opening title sequence featuring completely unrelated footage from the 70s and 80s Corman productions, composer Chuck Chirano pumps us with a very catchy theme song that will literally lodge in your head for weeks. For me, years. The remake opens exactly like the original, with a couple mugging down in a car before being dispatched with by the blood-pumping, Ray-Ban wearing Mr. Johnson, this time played by the stone-faced Arthur Roberts. From there, like the original, we enter a doctor's office, where we meet Lords as our new nurse Nadine. Our new Mr. Johnson, like in the original, needs blood, and convinces Nadine's boss, played wonderfully by actor Ace Mask, to lend him the services of Nadine at his estate.
There's evidence of some internal hemorrhage.
I see. When do you want me to move into his house?
Immediately, today.
I'm gonna have to go home first and get my toothbrush.
Now pack your clothing. This may very well be a protracted stay.
Oh.
Lords, Mask, and Johnson deliver these leftover lines from the 50s with expert timing.
I assume you have further scrutinized my blood?
I certainly have, Mr. Johnson. There's several hundred questions I'd like to ask you.
That desire was predictable.
And in black and white, it's as if this film was from a parallel universe with the original. You can even edit them together in some cases and never miss a beat.
Hello.
Nadine?
Yes, Doctor.
Harry told you about the woman who died here tonight?
He said she was like Johnson.
This has nothing to do with our patient.
The woman seems to lack any visible aperture in the optical tissue. And she has a fantastic blood disease in which the agglutinin is disintegrating.
Disintegrating? Is that what killed her?
No, she died of rabies.
Comedic timing takes a lot of work, and I've always thought Wynorski, in this particular phase in his career, was underrated as a comedy director. Chopping Mall, Deathstalker 2, and even The Return of Swamp Thing all have really funny comedic moments. Back at the house, we have a new, but still horny Jeremy wearing the exact same wardrobe as his character did in the 50s original. This Jeremy is portrayed by Lenny Giuliano, and he is absolutely perfect and has killer comedic chemistry with Lords. The scene by the pool not only exceeds the one from the original film, but takes some shots at Traci's past films as well, and it's really funny.
You swim like a mermaid.
You never know, maybe I am one.
I've got a hook and line inside. Maybe I should go get it.
I'm afraid you just haven't got the right bait, Jeremy.
Shouldn't say things like that until you see the size of my fishing pole.
You better be careful, you just might land a barracuda.
And speaking of chemistry, Lord's policeman boyfriend is this time played by Roger Lodge, and Lodge, who went on to big fame as the host of Blind Date, has absolutely zero chemistry with Lords on screen. Apparently he had just gotten married in real life and was absolutely terrified of the tractor beam that was Traci Lords. I mean, can you blame him? This film is terrific in black and white. Despite there being some sequences spliced in here from other Corman films like Humanoids from the Deep and Hollywood Boulevard, just to pad the running time, it's still a fun film and very funny. Traci Lords, although still saddled with her porn persona, you can see in this small sample size that she did have the talent to break out of that, and after this film, she did just that. After being asked to reprise his role as the vacuum guy from the original, actor Dick Miller decided not to, and was replaced with actor Michael Delano. He pretty much does the exact dialogue that Miller supposedly improvised on the original, and it's still hilarious.
If you don't want to purchase, you don't have to purchase. I ain't gonna force you to purchase.
Nadine, it's for you. It's a police officer. Said something about leaving his nightstick with you last evening?
Chopping Mall and Night of the Comet alumni Kelly Maroney has a quick part, as does B-movie super queen Monique Gabrielle, as an unrecognizable bus lady. In fact, I suspect if Lords had not been available for the lead role, that Monique Gabrielle probably would have been cast as Nadine, due to her place in the Wynorski verse at that time.
Tell you what, I have a connection to the spirit world.
After the 10 days of filming were over, Wynorski saw that Lords was way more comfortable than she was at the beginning of the shoot, so he took a couple of extra days with her and reshot a few of her scenes, knowing that she was now in the zone. And Lords is truly the standout of this picture, and people took notice of her comedic talents in reviews for the film. Black and White really treats this film well, and it suits it. It's a lot of fun imagining this as an alternate version of Corman's original, and showcases the alternative comedic talents of not just Lords, but director Wynorski and all the other actors in the cast. It has a John Landis or Zucker Brothers feel to it.
Stop running. Face me. My strength has returned.
It has returned.
The first specimen I sent to Davana was crushed. I shall send another. It shall be you.
It shall be me.
Not of This Earth is still around on some DVD copies, but it's never been available in HD outside of a showing or two on the now defunct MGM HD channel. This really needs a Blu-ray, or at least an HD remaster.
Hiya, Toots. Mr. Johnson's looking for a little company tonight.
Tell Mr. Johnson he's come to the right corner.
Yeah, right corner!
This film was to be remade again in 1995, with Corman again coming back to produce, but turning over directing reins to Terrence H. Winkless. Michael York starred as our new Mr. Johnson in this version, made for the Showtime network. 1988's Not of This Earth is a cozy, warm blanket of a film, and it just works better in black and white.
Don't worry about me. I'm a big girl now.
Tell me about it.
Nice lipstick.
Nice, Mercy.